You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rudrance for Black and White Sports. Well, we're going to talk about Chicago Bears legend, NFL Hall of Fame linebacker, middle linebacker, Brian Urlacher. That SOB was tough as nails. Well, and by the way, he's a Patriot. He's one of the few guys that will come out and have actually admitted he's right of center. He's a huge supporter of President Donald Trump. Look, not a lot of guys are willing to put themselves out there like that for fear of being canceled. So I got to give him some credit there. Well, he has come out and he has said some things that I believe some of us have sort of suspected about some of the ex-NFL players out there. Well, he's just come out and publicly said it. He believes there's ex-NFL players absolutely playing the system to get a paycheck from suing the NFL involving potentially having CTE. And we will watch that part of that video in just 1 second. Let's get to this and set it up. NFL legend Brian Urlacher suspects some players fake having CTE as means of gaining attention and potentially lining their pockets. Of course it is. Of course it is. You'd have to be an idiot not to suspect it. Speaking with fellow NFL player Will Compton for the June 29th edition of the podcast Bussin with the Boys. I'm going to have to subscribe to that. The two discuss the brain condition and its effect on players. Urlacher, a former Chicago Bears linebacker, was discussing his neck surgery when he was asked about the physical repercussions from the injury. Quote, "Do you feel anything from that, having that neck injury?" Compton asked. "No. I was losing strength in my left arm when I got it done. I fell asleep on a plane from the Bahamas home in the off season, and I woke up and was like, oh. I went, got an MRI and shit, and the guy was like, yeah, you've got a nerve, or you've got a bone on the nerve, or something like that. And they shaved it off, and it was good," Urlacher added. He said, "Do you ever worry about that stuff?" Well, let's just play it from there.
People ask you that all the time because you're like a 13-year middle linebacker.
I feel like I'm decently sharp still. You know, there's some things I forget, but my friends forget shit too.
Oh, yeah, everybody.
You know, we're dudes. We forget things, but I feel like I'm still doing pretty well. There are some guys I play with who claim to, I don't know. Here's the problem now with all the guys with the C. If they do have it, I feel for them. But there's guys who say they have it just so they can be in the fucking lawsuit.
There it is.
They want that money from the NFL. And I get it, man. You know, everyone wants to get their due, but there's really guys that have it that deserve to be taken care of. And there's the guys that don't have it who want to have it just so they can get part of that lawsuit. And it just drives me crazy.
Okay, so he's just coming out and saying there's guys that absolutely do not have it, in his opinion, that are just plugging it to the NFL to get that CTE money in a lawsuit. I can't imagine that this isn't actually a thing, isn't actually something that's happening. And, of course, it was a huge deal. They made a movie about the guy that discovered CTE. Will Smith played in that movie. It got a hell of a lot of attention. It was a massive story involving the NFL at the time. But, of course, there's guys that are playing the system in order to get a check from the NFL. He says it right there. It drives him effing crazy. Well, most people with a great work ethic, anytime somebody gets something for nothing, yeah, it does drive you crazy. It does drive you up a tree. Absolutely. Now, one could say, well, we kind of like the NFL getting it put to them, and I get that. But, you know, sometimes I just don't think if you don't work for what you deserve, then you don't deserve it. Or if you don't actually have that condition and you know you don't, then shame on you. I'm just keeping it real. So I appreciate his candor here. I appreciate his honesty. And, yeah, I think he's absolutely right. There's going to be guys that are playing this system, without a doubt. Now, I've also said there's been a component, as much money as it has cost the NFL. Look, the NFL was hoping and praying for a reason to legislate the physicality out of the game, which they have done. And it has absolutely changed the product on the field, and I'm sorry, but not for the better, as far as I'm concerned. I do miss the days of actual defense where guys just couldn't run across the middle wide ass open without getting their heads knocked off like the old days. Rod Woodson, right? Ronnie Lott. You just couldn't run free range across the middle without losing your skull. That just was part of the game. They've legislated the hitting out. Okay, there used to be a segment on ESPN, Monday Night Football, Tom Jackson, where you got lit up or whatever he called that segment. Jacked Up was the name of the segment. The hits was as much as part of the game as the offense. Now, well, the NFL used that as an excuse. The NFL has come out recently and talked about how much they now support flag football, and they hope to get it in the Olympics for the sake of letting women be able to play and have the NFL name involved in something. Make no mistake, the NFL wants to change the way the game is played. They already have, and the product is not better, in my opinion. I mean, I'm sorry. I know there's fantasy football and all that, but it's not the same game it was 15 years ago, and it's not a better product, in my opinion. CTE is part of the fallout from that. Tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. Brian Urlacher just put it out there. There's guys playing the system for $1. Plain and simple. And he doesn't like it. Neither do I. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. Black and White Network supporters, make sure you check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. Link in the description. Use promo code USA First, all one word. USA First, all one word. 25% off now.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.